And we continue our discussion on the opioid crisis by looking at what ramifications these prescription restrictions may have on patients and addicts. You may remember back in 2012, following Florida's crackdown on pill mills, opioid overdose deaths began to decline. That's because many addicts turned to drugs like heroin instead to get high. In fact, a recent Palm Beach Post investigation found that as opioid deaths declined, heroin-related fatalities skyrocketed. Now some critics warn the state's new opioid regulations could cause us to see a repeat of this deadly cycle. Here to share more on these findings and the potential impacts of the new law is Pat Beal, Palm Beach Post investigative reporter who spearheaded this three-part series called Igniting the Heroin Epidemic. And Dr. Hansel Tukes, founder and medical director of the University of Miami's Idea Exchange, the first and only needle exchange program in the state. Great to have both of you with us.
Thanks.
Dr. Tukes, great to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
So, Pat, I want to start with you. First of all, congratulations on your piece, on your reporting. It was excellent.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody should read it. Very eye-opening and really kind of takes us down through the history of how this all started. So kind of walk us through what you and your team discovered.
Well, basically, we found that there were three players in the heroin epidemic, and the first one was Purdue Pharma, because in marketing OxyContin, what they were really marketing, the broader marketing push was for broader acceptance of all prescription opioids. And so for the first time in U.S. history, people were being prescribed opiates, for instance, for children's migraines, as well as relatively minor pains, such as excuse me, such as strains, back strains, that sort of thing. So it really nurtured an appetite for opioids in the United States. Florida was the second and third player, I guess I should say, because we had simply ignored the pill mills that were funneling prescription opioids, not only into Florida, but according to the DEA, every region east of the Mississippi, Florida oxycodone was being trafficked. And we knew from 2002 onward that there was a problem. But we really didn't act until about 2011 through a series of efforts through 2011. And what we found was that as we cracked down on opioids, as we turned the spigot off of the pill mill, heroin was there. And in every region where Florida oxycodone had previously been trafficked, deaths linked to oxycodone went down, deaths linked to heroin shot up, sometimes within weeks or days, because another player in all of this was El Chapo and the Sinaloa cartel. Very early on, they saw that there could be a transition from prescription opioids to heroin. They started planting poppies, and by the time Florida cracked down, they were ready. Cheap, potent heroin was already on the streets.
So your reporting clearly showed that link, because there really wasn't that evidence before that there is a link between the oxycodone use going down and the heroin use increasing. That's exactly what that reporting showed, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, Dr. Tukes, let's bring you in on this. You are on the front lines of dealing with people who are addicted to heroin. Let's talk about this new law for a moment. Do you think that it is going to help in any way, or it's just going to have people turn from one drug to the other, that being heroin or fentanyl?
Unfortunately, I think the law is going to make things worse. The legislators were very well-intentioned when they brought this law forward, but they were also well-intentioned in 2011. And unfortunately, this current law, which is again going to restrict the supply side, restrict the amount of legitimate opioids that people have access to, it's just going to make people turn to street drugs, which are far more potent and put us in a situation like we have now, which is not just a lot of addiction to opioids, but the fact that the opioids that people get on the street are much, much stronger, and that's why everybody's dying. So I do think that this is just going to make the situation worse.
For people who aren't familiar with the Idea Exchange, walk us through what it is that you do every day, and that stands for Infectious Disease Eradication Act. Walk us through kind of what a typical day is like for you with folks coming into the Exchange.
The Exchange is an amazing place. It's a place where people who are really in the shadows and don't have any access to the healthcare system because of stigma, because of their disease, are able to come in, get some cold water, get clean needles so that they don't spread HIV and hepatitis C. They're able to get naloxone, which is the life-saving drug that reverses overdose. And for the first time since we started handing out naloxone on the streets of Miami, we see the overdose numbers coming down for the first time since the pill mills closed. So it's very important to get this drug out there.
Yeah, and you actually have a demo for us right now to show us how easy it is to use. So you can show people within, what, a couple minutes how to use this drug, right?
It's very easy.
Yeah.
We do a quick training. You know, you do a sternal rub to see whether or not the person is responsive. They're turning blue. They're not breathing. You can stick this in the nostril and spray
wow.
just like that. And usually in a couple of minutes, you've saved somebody's life. And it's an incredible feeling. It's very empowering for our participants, and it's actually having an impact on the number of overdoses in South Florida.
That's amazing. Pat, in your reporting, do you hear from people that they think the new law is going to help save lives, or a lot of folks kind of saying what Dr. Tukes is saying?
Well, you know, I think it's kind of early days yet, but if you look at how the law is being rolled out, you have the same issue, I think, that we had in 2011, you know, the good intentions, but maybe with a fundamental misunderstanding of addiction. You know, Jack Riley, who is the special agent in charge of bringing in El Chapo, said the cartels really understand addiction. They understand the need to have an opioid on a daily basis. And there may be people saying, well, you know, pain patients who can't get more than 3 days will never go to heroin. Well, once again, the cartels are ahead of us. The cartels have started packaging pills. Some of them are literally fentanyl pills, or some of them may have heroin in them. But if somebody went, say, to get an illicit supply because they couldn't get a licit supply, you know, they may go to the street. They don't have to go to heroin and have all of that, you know, that image of heroin.
Sure.
They can be picking up pills that the cartels have supplied, and once again, you are risking unintended consequences. Just as we're risking unintended consequences as it pertains to needle exchanges. You know, we had the oxycodone / pill mill epidemic, then we had the heroin epidemic, continuing with pills, of course. They've never gone away. But now we seem to be on the threshold of, maybe it's not epidemic proportions, Dr. Tukes could address that better than I, of hepatitis C.
Wow. Unfortunately, we're out of time, so we're going to have you back. Dr. Tukes, we're definitely going to have you back and talk more about you trying to get needle exchange across the state of Florida as a whole. So we appreciate all the work you're doing. Pat, thank you so much for being here. And of course, we would love to hear what you think. What is your take on regulating opioids? We'd love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email. Go to our Facebook page @YourSouthFL. We look forward to hearing from you.